Allow me to mention some of his most significant achievements in his decades-long Department of Defense service. Greg Walker was born in Dayton, Ohio to Robert and Betty Walker. As the eldest of 3 children, he was instilled with a strong work ethic by his father. After graduating high school in 1981, Greg attended Eastern Kentucky University, inspired by a be-all-you-can-be Army commercial, much like all of us. He joined the Army in 1983. He trained at various military bases and earned his parachutist jump wings. His first assignment was at Fort Liberty, formerly known as Fort Bragg, North Carolina, with the 82nd Airborne Division, where he deployed to Grenada for Operation Urgent Fury. Greg spent the next 6 years with the division before being assigned to the 7th Special Forces Group in Panama in 1989. During Operation Just Cause, he earned the Bronze Arrowhead device. Greg's military career took him back to Fort Bragg and then to various assignments in Panama and Puerto Rico. He was promoted to Master Sergeant in 2001 and served as a paying agent in Ecuador. After graduating the Army First Sergeant course, he became the First Sergeant for the United States Army South. In 2003, Greg relocated to Fort Sam Houston, Texas. He retired in 2004 after 21 years of service, having participated in over 500 jumps. That alone deserves some applause.
Amen.
And probably some bengay. He earned foreign jump wings from multiple countries. Greg is proud of his military career, including his time in the 82nd Airborne Division and the 7th Special Forces Group, and cherishes all the berets, the maroon, the black, the green, the gold, purple. He's got all of them. A few weeks after his military retirement, Greg was hired by Mantech International Corporation as a contractor for United States Army South, formerly known as USARSO. He was in the G4 shop here at Fort Sam Houston, Texas, serving as a senior logistician. For 3 years, Greg traveled extensively throughout Central and South America, including the Caribbean, conducting staff assistance visits and inspecting U.S. Embassy logistical programs. Despite the grueling work, he persevered. In 2007, when Mantech lost their contract with Army South, they offered Greg a job as a master supply technician tasked with establishing the Left Behind equipment, better otherwise known as LBE. He led the team in California. Excited by the move, he accepted, only to discover the job was based in Barstow, California, requiring a daily 86-mile commute to Fort Irwin. After 9 challenging months without his family, Greg was called back to San Antonio to set up the LBE team here at Fort Sam Houston, Texas, where he remained for 2 years. In 2009, he was hired by the newly established 412th Contracting Support Brigade as a logistics management specialist in the S4 shop. In 2013, he was reassigned to the Mission and Installation Contracting Command, the MIC, becoming the first and only MIC headquarters commandant. Greg led the commandant team responsible for facility management, IT support, fitness center management, billing, fleet management, HVAC management. It is kind of hot in here, right? Greg. You read all the nasty emails, right? Okay, right. In 2017, Greg deployed to Afghanistan in support of Operation Resolute Support, a NATO-led mission. He worked for the Army Contracting Command and supported multiple contracting brigades and battalions, earning the Commander's Award Medal for civilian service and the Article 5, not Article 15, NATO Medal. Upon his return, his commandant team was disbanded, but he continued their duties solo from 2017 to 2024, the true meaning of a one-man shop, without missing a beat. Over the past 11 years, Greg has been recognized for numerous upgrades in the historic Long Barracks, especially the MIG Fitness Center. With his 5 years as a contractor, Greg proudly served a total of 41 years with the United States Army. Greg's commitment to the Army mission, enthusiasm for his profession, and tireless desire to help others is unmatched. His contributions have created a lasting positive legacy for the workforce and supported units, felt for years to come. Please give Greg a round of applause for his priceless accomplishments. So we're gonna do something a little different. Before I bring up the host, we wanna switch things up a little bit. And we're gonna bring up Greg's brother to provide some words of encouragement for his brother, Gregory Walker Sr.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I asked my brother earlier, yesterday, I said, I'm a preacher, by the way, pastor preacher.
5 minutes, sir.
I asked him how much time did I have, 15, 20 minutes? He said more like 2. So, pray with me. Hallelujah. Glory be to God. In the, amen. Jesus. I'm happy to be here. I'm excited to be here. In the book of Matthew John chapter 1, around the 46th verse, there was a question asked by, I believe it was Nathaniel. He said, can any good thing come from Nazareth? Mm. And I asked the question today, can any good thing come from Dayton, Ohio? Before you knew Greg Walker, how many of you can raise your hand and said that you heard of Dayton, Ohio? Okay, a few of us. It's not, Jesus, have mercy, 2 minutes. Nothing good was supposed to come out of Dayton, a small town just west of Columbus, Ohio, the capital. You got a few people that came out of Dayton that really made a mark, but not really expected. And when the question was asked, could any good thing come out of Nazareth, it was posed towards Jesus Christ. Small town, little kid born in a manger, around the animals, and living in a place that many of the Jewish people look down upon, just 50 miles or so north of Jerusalem. I'm still know I got about a minute. So they looked and said, how can this little Jesus, who's making so much noise in Jerusalem, have such great accomplishments and accolades? And can any good thing come from Nazareth? Well, let me share this with you. Greg Walker, born in the inner city of Dayton, Ohio, and possibly we lived in a 800 square foot home where we shared the same room for 4 years of my life, till I got to the 4th grade, should I say. I had to share the room with this young man. And I feel sorry for his wife because I never got any cover. He was what you call a cover hog. We were not rich, so the possibility, the chances of anything coming good out of that was very slim. Nothing to do but to get in trouble. Mm-hmm. So we later moved out of there and moved out to the country, where we were around horses and pigs and chickens, and sometimes we were dropped off on a racetrack, and we lived with the horses. Yeah. In a square cement 12 by 12 building. All summer we were living with the horses. Can any good thing come out of Dayton, Ohio? Greg Walker's not supposed to be here. Mm. He is that good thing. Mm. From Fort Linwood, they found out something good can come out of Dayton, Ohio. Mm. Fort Bragg found out that there was something good that could come out of Dayton, Ohio. Mm-hmm. Fort Sam Houston found out that something good could come out of Dayton, Ohio. When my brother left, we shared the room until I got in the 4th grade, and then we moved out in the country, and he kicked me out of his room. I had to share a room with my mom and dad. So the day he graduated from high school, he was moving on to Eastern Kentucky University. And the day he left, I sat in his room, and don't tell him this, and erase this recording. Okay. I cried all night long. Because the one who protected me from seen and unseen danger was leaving my life. My hero, my role model, my friend,
Yeah.
was leaving. I cried. Now don't get too teary-eyed, because the next day I realized after 10th grade I finally get my own room. Glory! I put an air conditioning in the window. I put blue lights in. I text my sister. I said, "Baby girl, I got it going on." But that man right there, would you stand, Greg? I want to give him 3 salutes for your service in the military. I salute you, my brother, for being, hallelujah, for being my protector, my friend, my brother. I salute you from my heart. And for God blessing me with you, I salute you with prayer. God bless you on your next chapter. And please don't, no more retirements. It's getting expensive coming out here. This is my second retirement party. God bless you all.
Oh, man. Amen.
I ain't Pentecostal, but I was about to do a lap. Wow. That was good. And also, we have our IG here, Mr. Franz Arby, because what he was doing, that's borderline bullying. We talked to Franz Arby and file a complaint right after this. So now we're going to transition into our formal portion of the ceremony, and I'm going to bring up our illustrious Chief of Staff, who will grace you with his comments.
All right. All right, good morning, everyone. And
Good morning.
Rose, that was gorgeous, so thank you.
Thank you.
My wife's a singer, so she always tells me that's like one of the hardest things to sing. If you don't know, that national anthem's crazy hard, but beautiful. Thank you.
You're gracious. Thank you.
Robert, also my father-in-law is a pastor, so 3 points, and you know what I mean? So, well done. I didn't know where you were going, but thank you for that. God bless you. And Greg, what a beautiful family you've got. When you go through your bio and you look at all the things, and then you finally get to meet your family, you're like, oh, well, it all makes sense. And so it's just an honor to be here today to host this occasion, even though it's the second one, but this occasion, because it's ours. This is your Mick family. This is our occasion. So thank you for that. And to everyone else that's attending, right? You see Mick folks from the past. We see people that are here, and everyone that really did work for this, get this ceremony and lend a little bit of class to it. So Troy and the team, thank you very much for this. Because when you get a man that has served the way Greg has, this is the way it's supposed to happen. So Greg through, now I had 36 here because I'm public education, so 36 for me, but 21 on active duty, and you had deployments that were operational, you had late night phone calls and emergencies, and you've demonstrated immeasurable dedication, remarkable sacrifice to our Army, to the MIC, to the soldiers and the civilians. So Troy highlighted in your bio many of your accomplishments, but what stuck out to me was your background in the Be All You Can Be campaign. Not only is that how most all of us came in, but it's also where the Army went back to a few years ago, as we know. And the MIC led that. And so that's a part of you that that's not only part of your journey, but it's also part of this organization and this family. And so from there, Greg, like Troy said, went to basic training in AIT at Fort Leonard Wood. You went to Fort Lee, and then you went on to Fort Benning, or Fort Moore now, to jump school, and then airborne units at Fort Bragg or Fort Liberty. And the first of his 3 combat deployments were in Grenada and Operation Fury. And after many airborne assignments later, Greg was assigned to 7th Special Forces Airborne Group in Panama, where he supported Operation Just Cause, earning him the individual Braun Arrowhead device for an assault helicopter landing in a combat zone. And the list goes on and on with his high speed, things Greg accomplished, mainly in special ops and all over the world, and then 20 years of active duty before he finally did his first retirement. So Greg, I'm wearing this uniform today, and in honor of your military service. So thank you.
Amen.
So even after your retirement, you still could not settle down, could you? So you take a civilian job, and he goes far and wide, traveling through Central and South America to include the Caribbean, and that hard work that you had, in the Bahamas or Honduras or Brazil. I don't know where else you ended up, St. Croix maybe, but just to name a few. I don't know where those jobs are, Greg, but let's talk after this where I can find out. When you hear the things and the operations that he was a part of or he leaves, Greg's one of those guys to tell sort of some Army stories. Greg's one of those guys where he's like, oh, we getting a new guy, and you're like, awesome. He's like, oh, it's Greg Walker, and you're like, oh no, we're going to go do something crazy. Like, Operation Just Cause, whatever it was, something crazy was going to happen. But that's where the God puts you, because that's where that unit and that team in our country needed. And that's why that you moved throughout this Western Hemisphere. So lucky for us, Greg eventually settled down with the 412th Contracting Support Brigade, now affectionately known as the Fighting Fish, FDO. That's right. As the Logistics Management Specialist in 2009. And before joining us here at the MIC headquarters as our illustrious Commandant in 2013. However, we talked a lot about his bio and all the things that you've done. You faced fear, some night jumps and 500 jumps and all this combat, but nothing would prepare you more to face your greatest enemy, this building. And getting resources from the Air Force. So you were, you only thought fighting dictators and global terrorists was hard until you came here. So since 2013, Greg turned the headquarters into a place that really was great to work. This work environment contributes to a staff attrition rate of at or below 10% over the last 10 years. And it's part of not only his leadership, but it's also his dedication to everyone that's in this room or has been in this room. And it's because of him. Even through things like sequestration, COVID-19, and even this post-pandemic era that we're in now, this also changed his purpose from going places to launching people to go places. This is what this headquarters does. And so now, as the MIC began to go into places where we fought global terror, we fought Ebola, and we even withdrew from Afghanistan, the brain trust that was here was able to do that, and Greg Walker was a part of that team. So during all those locations and all the time that you've served, I'm sure that there have been many memorable events in your career that are highlighted by notable moments that happened in the world around you. And if you're like me, you mark many of those events by where you were in your career when they happened. And if you remember nothing else from your time here at the MIC, I want you to remember three things. Number one, your efforts made a big impact. During your 11-year service at the MIC headquarters, you likely have countless core memories, but none, I'm sure, more remarkable as COVID-19 or the Snowmageddon of 21. How many times over the years and during a Snowmageddon event did Greg get out from his warm, comfortable bed to come here to check on the facilities, the heat, the leaks, the AC issues, HVAC, in the building? Because that's where he is. He goes to where the point of need is. Think about that. When there were few people, if any, on site, Greg was here, checking on facilities, watching out for frozen pipes, stopping leaks before they became truly floods. And when Mother Nature proved too much, Greg stepped up to facilitate the repairs that we could continue these normal operations that allows the MIC to do its job. Day in and day out, over 11 years, Greg provided premier support and dedicated assistance across the entire command. Through building improvements, upgrades like the MIC gym, as we talked about, that did not have any resources when we first built it. I remember there weren't any resources. Hey, here's your mission, Greg. You got no money and you've got no gym. Now go build one. And he did it. And he made it great.
Yes.
Greg's effort was a major impact on our health and welfare and the well-being of the hundreds of soldiers and civilians who have passed through these doors. He raised that gazebo in the back while working through the local historical society because they wouldn't let us change this great building. But you had to work through it, and that was not easy. Upgraded our training facilities. That's now the foundation of MIC University. Remember, every time you walked on those newly restored floors out there, you went to the gym and even sat at your desk with the lights on and the temperature that was just right and you had a roof over your head. You have Greg to thank. We also thank Greg for the countless other upgrades in the facilities, big and small, that he was able to facilitate. He never told the command no. He always helped us get to a viable solution, and that would almost be the most effective and sometimes cost efficient to the G8 back there, support to the MIC. And despite all of that, instead of a thank you emails, Greg got a lot more of, hey, we need this or that ASAP. Emails that Greg always took in stride with the best attitude and truly that $1 million smile.
Not always the best.
So Greg, thank you for not only taking care of us in all the big and small ways that you have in the past decade, but for bringing the highest level of professionalism and dedicated support and assistance to that position. I personally do not know what I'm going to do without the peace of mind that you're on the job to handle whatever crisis comes in 25, but it's going to be tough. So whatever comes in this old historic building continues to function at its most optimal level. But this building is the impact that you've left. Number 2, you have a story to tell through your story, though your story is not over. You have gained so much, innumerable skill sets through your 41 years and 36 years of federal service and 41 years service to the Army. Your resume is impressive. And that doesn't all just disappear when you wake up tomorrow. You may not even fully realize how invaluable you truly are. The leadership, time management, gained knowledge, a roadmap of mission accomplishment will be an asset to any community endeavor. Fishing tournament, sports teams, bowling team with your dad, or even this new rapping career I'd heard about as you choose to lend your career to. I can't wait. So, let me know. That's right. I know you plan to travel with your lovely bride of 29 years, Marlena, and visit your grandkids. But I also encourage you to wear what you already have accomplished with pride and tell your Army story so that you can inspire the next generation of Greg Walkers. Number 3, do something you want to do every day. For decades, you've lived where the Army told you to live, had to wear what the Army told you to wear, be in BDUs. See how back BDUs. Yep. Or a MIC Polo, which is for sale in the back. All right. It's Christmas coming up, so just a small plug. And you had to work with, and you also had to go where the Army told you. And you may have wanted a lot of that, especially in the Caribbean, but in full retirement, it is time to really consider what you want out of the rest of your life. No more missed birthdays or holidays or family meals. Unless, of course, you want to. And no more waking up the whole house on your way out the door at dark 30 to check on the long barracks. Again, unless you want to. So my hope for you is in retirement is that you do less of what you have to do and more of what you want to do. And with those that you care about most in this world. So allow me to be the first to officially congratulate you, Greg. Congratulations also to your family, for they are going to spend a lot more time with you. And our Army families are a special breed, stronger and more resilient than most. Without their love, support, and understanding, you may not have been able to endure all the trials that you had over the decades. So finally, I cannot reiterate how appreciative all of us are for your 36 years of selfless federal service and sacrifice. Your sense of fulfillment, mission accomplishment, and a sense of duty to those you worked with helped you recommit to just a few more years. So thank you for living the Army values and being an outstanding representative of our Army profession, as a soldier and as a Department of Army civilian. We are hopeful for you and whatever you choose to do next in your extremely bright future beyond the Army and the MIC. And in our Army profession, you can now reiterate what Paul wrote in 2 Timothy. I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race, and I have kept the faith.
Yes.
As Greg transitions into this new chapter, let us remember that his legacy isn't in what he accomplished, but in the lives he touched and the example he set. Starting today, in this monumental moment, you can now add retired Department of Army Civilian to your long list of accomplishments. And remember, you and your family will always be part of our Army family. You have earned that, and no one can ever take that away from you. Congratulations, Soldiers for Life, win every day, contracting for soldiers.
Greg, I'm going to ask you to join the chief up front. But before I move forward, I just wanted to say, a lot of folks don't realize what really happened when you created that gym out of nothing. And coming from Flint, Michigan, I know exactly what that was. Kind of reminded me of like mayonnaise sandwiches, syrup sandwiches, tomato sandwiches, even onion sandwiches. You make something out of what you have, whether that's that big block cheese that you cut and it's like uneven, so you got a messed up grilled cheese sandwich, or that milk that you have to mix with a little bit of water to get it going. So I understand what you did with that gym, and when I walked down there, I didn't see borrowed, used, broken down equipment. What I saw was fitness and health, and I just want to say thank you for doing that.
Absolutely.
So now, the formal part. Greg will now be presented with the Meritorious Civilian Service Medal. The Meritorious Civilian Service Medal is presented to Gregory Walker Sr. for outstanding service as the Logistics Management Specialist, Mission and Installation Contracting Command Headquarters, JBSA Fort Sam, Houston, Texas. Mr. Walker excelled as the Commandant and provided exceptional support. He effectively managed 13 historical facilities, the property book, the hand receipt, and coordinated numerous ceremonies to include his own. He effectively managed the $2.2 million Long Barracks porch demolition and replacement project. His unwavering dedication to the MIC and his efforts to preserve and enhance the historical significance of the Long Barracks culminate in 36 years of federal service and reflect great credit upon himself, the Army Contracting Command, and the Department of the Army. Signed, Douglas S. Lowry, Major General, U.S. Army Commander. Major General Lowry would also like to congratulate Greg on his huge milestone in the form of an Army Contracting Command Star Note. The note reads in part, Mr. Walker, congratulations on your retirement after nearly 40 years of service. We are extremely grateful for all you have done throughout your career in the service for soldiers, civilians, and their families. Signed, Douglas S. Lowry, Major General, U.S. Army, Commanding. Colonel Stevenson will now present a coin on behalf of Colonel Adams and Command Sergeant Major Bright, who are the commander and command sergeant major of our organization. Colonel Stevenson will now present a Deputy Commanding General Star Note and coin on behalf of Mr. Clay Cole. The Star Note reads in part, Greg, your commitment and unwavering support have left an indelible mark on the team, and you will be greatly missed. Signed, Wade C. Cole, SES, Deputy to the Commanding General. Colonel Stevenson is now presenting Greg with a very special United States of America flag and certificate of authenticity, noting that this flag was flown over the United States Capitol on November 11, 2024, in appreciation of 36 years of dedicated military and federal service. Signed, John Cornyn, United States Army, or United States Senator. Colonel Stevenson will now present Greg with the Texas state flag and certificate of authenticity, noting that this flag was flown over the Texas state capitol on November 11, 2024, in celebration of Greg's 36 years of service on behalf of the MIC and the Texas House of Representatives, attested to on the 12th day of November by the Texas House of Representatives Sergeant at Arms. On behalf of the Governor of Texas, Colonel Stevenson is now presenting Greg with a certificate of congratulations signed by the Governor. The certificate reads in part, First Lady Cecilia Abbott joins me in extending best wishes for an enjoyable and fulfilling retirement. Sincerely, Greg Abbott, Governor of Texas. Colonel Stevenson is now presenting Greg with the City of San Antonio certificate on behalf of the mayor. It reads in part, may your retirement open new vistas with new challenges, new interests, and above all, continued success in a life well lived. Presented this 18th day of December 2024. Signed, Ron Nurnberg, Mayor.
Picture frames for Christmas.
So now we will formally retire Greg with a certificate of retirement. I'm gonna ask Ms. Marlena if you would please join Greg up front.
Switch.
Switch.
Sorry.
We'll switch after. No, other way.
Well, on the other side?
Greg and.
Oh, Greg gotta be in the middle?
Like that. We rehearsed this. Twice.
Usually I'm wrong, that's why I was like, hey, I gotta move.
We rehearsed it. Okay, the Department of the Army Certificate of Retirement is awarded to Greg Walker Sr. in recognition of his 36 years of federal service. Signed, Freddie L. Adams, the 2nd Colonel, U.S. Army Commanding. The retirement certificate and pen are accompanied by the certificate of appreciation. Now we switch, Greg. Like we rehearsed.
Twice.
A certificate of appreciation will now be presented to his wife. The certificate of appreciation is awarded to Marlena C. Walker on the occasion of the retirement of your husband from federal service with the Department of the Army, and in grateful acknowledgement of your support and understanding that contributed significantly to your husband's career in the service of the Army and the nation. Signed, Freddie L. Adams, the 2nd Colonel, U.S. Army Commanding. Colonel Stevenson will now present Greg with a framed print of the historic Long Barracks on behalf of the MIC headquarters. And you will notice that the HVAC is working in this photo.
It's official, we should get this thing. It don't stop.
The plaque reads, presented to Greg Walker, Senior Logistics Management Specialist and Commandant, Headquarters Mission and Installation Contracting Command, from August 2009 to 31 December 2024, as an expression of our heartfelt appreciation for your 14 years of tireless dedication, selfless service, and unwavering support to the soldiers and civilians of Team MIG. This will defend contracting for soldiers. Without further delay, let me introduce our newest retiree, Greg Walker.
Woo-hoo!
2 minutes, bro. 2 minutes, bro.
Before I start. So my 50th birthday, which was 11 years ago, I cried like a baby because all my family was there. And my family clowned me for years, especially that one right there with that blue pinstripe suit. So I told myself, ain't gonna cry. And then my brother gets up here. And I look over at my daughter and she's with her phone. Thanks a lot. First and foremost, I want to thank God for waking me up this morning. I feel truly blessed to be here today. I want to start by thanking Colonel Stephenson for hosting this ceremony. Sir, I really appreciate it. I wasn't expecting all that. I love your words. You really summed up what I've done, and I really appreciate you. Sergeant Major, thanks. I've worked with probably 6 Sergeant Majors here in the MIC, actually every one of them since the history of the MIC. And I had a closer relationship with Sergeant Major Guzman than all those Sergeant Majors put together. And it's not a shot on those Sergeant Majors, but this Sergeant Major, you talk about caring for soldiers, looking out for soldiers, caring about the facilities, upgrades. All of that was in collaboration really with Sergeant Major Guzman. So I really cherish our talks. You know, we told old war stories, jumped out of airplanes, rucking. We've had a lot of conversations, personal and professional, and I really appreciate it, Sergeant Major. Y'all can clap that up. Thanks to Mr. Troy Fawcett for organizing and putting together this phenomenal ceremony, along with his staff, Tish, Crystal, Jeanette, and Ryan. I also appreciate the assist from Mr. Lionel Martinez. And Mr. Martinez is right here. He's kind of taking on my role. Good luck. Have fun with the building, sir. No, but he's jumped in with 2 feet. Even though he's only been here a couple months, it's like he's been here for years. So appreciate you. Thanks to my G4 battle buddies, Mike, Rick, Roger, Lionel, Mr. Russell, and I saw Steve in here. Where you at, Steve? I appreciate you guys. We'll talk more at our G4 function. So nobody feels left out. Thanks to the entire MIG headquarters, the FDO, and the Fort Sam Houston office, it's been a true pleasure working with you all. Before I move on, I do want to mention a couple people. I hate mentioning certain people, but I have to do it for some. My battle buddy back there, Mr. Dave Roberts, man, we spent so much time together. A lot of times he got on my nerves, but, and I say that in joking, we always give each other a hard time, but I learned so much from Dave. I think vice versa. He's a former first sergeant, and we've done stuff outside of the job, and I really consider him a close friend, so I appreciate you being here today, my man. Y'all can clap that up. I can't mention everybody in this room, but I'm gonna mention one more person, Ben Gonzalez. Me and this guy have been friends 10 years at least, and he just had surgery, and he's on crutches, and he's here today. So that lets you know what kind of friend he is. A quick story, me and my wife was renewing our vows after 25 years, and we were stressing like crazy because we really didn't have a plan. We didn't have any help. So I just happened to mention to Ben, I say, hey man, I need your advice. Me and my wife are renewing our vows. We don't have anything done. And he's an organizer. So I said, what do you suggest? He said, when? Wrote it down. Where? Wrote it down. I'll give you a call. I got it handled. Like, what do you mean you got it handled? Him and his wife organized, set up, hosted the entire event. And what did he want in return? Nothing. And that's just the kind of guy he is. Fast forward a couple years later, same thing with our youngest daughter for her quinceañera when she turned 15. We didn't have a clue. He jumped in, did everything for us, and he's just a really good guy. His wife the same, just salt of the earth. So thank you for being here, and I really appreciate your friendship. It's hard to believe that this started 41 years ago, and y'all gonna hear me repeat a couple of things that I enlisted in the Army 41 years ago. I remember coming home and telling my mom I joined the military and I ship out in 4 weeks. She said, "What job did they give you?" I told her unit supply specialist and airborne. She said, "Airborne? Do you know what that is?" I said, "Not really." She said, "That's jumping out of airplanes, silly, and you won't even ride a roller coaster." Well, the rest is history. 6 months later, I found myself at Fort Bragg, North Carolina, assigned to the 82nd Airborne Division. Fast forward 6 years to 1989, my first tour in Panama, Charlie Company Special Forces. I was informed that we had a helicopter jump in the Panama Canal and to be ready to go in the morning. I said, "Wait, but I can't swim." The jump master said, "You'll be fine." And I said, "Cool." The next morning, we loaded in the helicopter, reached altitude, jumped in the ocean, and yes, I was scared to death. The recovery boat was operated by Navy SEALs. They circled around me several times like a shark. They were laughing and shouting wild cracks. Like, "We know you can't swim, brother, but we got you. We ain't gonna let you drown." I had some choice words for them, but I couldn't speak because I had too much salt water in my mouth. Needless to say, I went to the pool the next 3 days, taught myself how to swim, later became a water survivor instructor for airborne operations in Panama.
Wow.
My military career consisted of 14 years at Bragg, where it all started. I went from Bragg to Panama, back to Bragg, back to Panama, Puerto Rico, back to back, and finally retired here at Fort Sam. It was rough, but somebody had to do it. I started my civilian career as a contractor worker for Mantech International as a master supply technician. I spent 5 years in Army South, traveling all over Central and South America and the Caribbean. My job was to inspect all logistical programs at U.S. embassies. Over a 5-year span, I traveled TDY multiple times to Brazil, Panama, Ecuador, El Salvador, Chile, Nicaragua, Bolivia, Jamaica, Barbados, Peru, Honduras, and the Bahamas, just to name a few.
Pronounce your words, sir.
This was some hard work that somebody had to do. Fast forward to 2009, I was hired by the 412 to be the S4. This is where I would spend the next 4 years before being assigned across the street here at the MIC headquarters as the commandant. As a safety officer, I'm proud to have led the MIC headquarters in receiving the first and only Army Safety Excellence Streamer Award. This took 10 months to come to fruition. I'm honored to have been involved in multiple million-dollar projects over the past 13 years. I enjoy collaborating with you all, and that's enough about me. I'm gonna transition to my family. These people in the front row are the reason I sacrificed and gave the Army 42 years of my life. Let me start by thanking my little sister, Rose Benjamin, who traveled all the way from Atlanta, Georgia to be here today. Can we please give her a round of applause for that? Just like the Colonel mentioned, hard song to sing, and then to sing it a cappella. She will never admit this, but she actually put out a CD quite a few years ago, and every song on there, you will not fast forward any. So she's always had that talent as a singer.
Yes.
She's a former business owner of a beauty salon, currently employed as an inventory control specialist in the Atlanta airport. She's also an associate pastor, intercessor, worship leader, and a certified life coach and marriage counselor. She's a proud mom of 3 very talented kids. Her firstborn is a former dancer, model, and a singer. Her son is a former Army soldier. Her youngest daughter is currently serving in the Air Force, and they happen to be twins. She's a proud grandmother of 2 beautiful grandkids. You won't find a kinder person with a bigger heart than my little sister Rose.
Right.
I love you so much.
Love you too, baby.
Next up, my little brother Plip, Pastor Robert Walker. We call him Plip. Quick story, when he was born, my mother took him around some relatives, and he was, smaller than the rest of us. And she said, oh, he looked like a little blip. Like blip. So from blip, we started calling him Plip. So I've never called him Robert. He's always been Plip. Like that, man. So Plip, thanks for traveling all the way from the great state of Ohio to be here today, sir. And thanks for that powerful invocation and your heartfelt words. Yeah, let's give it up. That invocation was really good. My little brother is a graduate of University of Cincinnati and also a former business owner. He's had multiple businesses, actually. He's a director of spiritual care and is the resident chaplain and director of activities at Maria Joseph Nursing and Rehab Center located in Dayton. Plip has a daughter who's a high school senior honor student. Next year, she'll attend Ball State University located in Muncie, Indiana. Plip has a rock star son, like my brother Ben, who travels all over the world with his band called The Main Squeeze, so look him up. Me and Plip share the same birthday, March the 16th, but I'm 3 years older. He's simply the best brother in the world. I love you, sir.
Oh, sweet.
All right, my kids. My son Greg Jr. couldn't be here today. Greg is a first lieutenant police officer in Washington, D.C. We're proud of him and what he does every day protecting the citizens of Washington. My middle daughter, Shalise Burrs, also couldn't be here today. She's an honor graduate of Justin High School. She currently lives in Columbia, Missouri, and she works as an interpreter translator for the VA, Spanish. She's given us 2 adorable grandkids, and last night they sent me a retirement video, and they read letters to me, and I was pretty strong. I got misty. But my wife didn't. She had to let it go.
Let it go.
I'm telling on her. In attendance today is my firstborn daughter, Crystal Gardner. Crystal graduated at the top of her class in high school and is a college graduate of Fayetteville State University with a degree in criminal justice. Following college, Crystal enlisted in the Army and served as a combat X-ray technician. Y'all got to clap that up. After the military, she enrolled in law school, graduated, passed the bar the first time out the gate, and she's currently serving as an attorney with M. Hallomigan, PLLC, Attorneys at Law in Houston, Texas. She's also given us 2 beautiful grandkids that we just adore. I love you, baby.
Love you, Daddy.
In attendance today is our youngest daughter, Grace Walker. She's a dance major graduate of Northeast School of Arts, NISA. She's trained in every genre of dance. At 17, she's still the youngest ever to make the San Antonio Spurs dance team. She danced for the Spurs 3 consecutive seasons before relocating to Houston. Recently, they brought her here to teach a workshop for the Spurs. And then later, actually about 2 weeks ago, they brought her here to teach a routine to the current dancers that'll be performed at a couple of Spurs games. So she's transitioning from dancing to being a choreographer. Gracious has traveled all over the U.S. to include Australia, training and teaching dance. She's competed at the World of Dance multiple times, as well as Australia back-to-back years. She's also a 10-time published model and has graced the cover of 2 magazines. She's been featured on Ken's 5 Great Day San Antonio, Ken's 5 Kids Who Make America. God, I knew I was going to say that. Kids Who Make San Antonio Great.
Leave my president alone.
And when I rehearsed it, I kept saying that. Nothing against it, but I just kept saying it. I said, I better not say it. And here I go. And News 4 San Antonio Living. She also traveled to Austin about a month ago to teach a team that's going to compete at the World of Dance. So I love you, baby. I'm proud of you. All right. My last story goes back to Panama about 32 years ago. I was TDY and off duty at Veracruz Beach. I saw the most beautiful woman in the world walking near the fence line. And I said to myself, that lady is going to be my wife one day. Needless to say, she didn't want nothing to do with me. Good transition. But I was relentless in my pursuit. I would occasionally see this lady at events, parties, cookouts, etc., but could never crack the code on formally meeting her. Finally, we had a mutual friend that introduced me to her, and I tried using some crazy Mac Daddy rap, and she looked at me like I was crazy. I thought to myself, I'm losing my Macking skills. Only to find out she didn't understand a word I was saying because she didn't speak or understand English. That actually made me feel a lot better. Once I heard her speak in Spanish, I broke down and I melted. I just assumed she was a sister girl in the Army. Well, this lady has been by my side ever since, and she's my entire world. February 2025, we will celebrate our 29th wedding anniversary. I just want to publicly thank you for all the support over the years, raising our kids, and being my best friend. Having said that, I apologize in advance because I know and you know I will be getting on your nerves every day that I'm retired. I have no words to express how much I love you, so I'll simply say, I love you, baby.
Oh, that was sweet.
Thanks for sharing this special moment with me and my family. I really appreciate y'all being here today. One team.
Miss Marlena, we used to call that's harassment. Again, you can see it right here. And you know what, Greg, I went the entire ceremony almost without saying it. I tried my best, but I heard Ohio way too many times.
Yes, sir.
Go blue. You knew it was coming.
You knew what I wanted to say today? Go Army, beat Navy. I couldn't say it.
That hurt. That one hurt. So without further delay, and at the special request of Mr. Walker, who would like to hear it just one last time during his federal service, please stand for the playing of the Army song.
To victory, we're the Army and goes rolling along. Proud of all we have done, fighting till the battle's won, and the army goes rolling along. And it's high, high, hey, the army's on its way. Count off the cadence loud and strong. For wherever you go, you will always know that the army goes rolling along.
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes the formal part of the ceremony. Again, congratulations, Greg. He and his family will come forward to take a few photos, and you're also invited to come forward and offer your personal congratulations. Light refreshments will be served at the back of the room. Contracting for soldiers.